Hey Motion, in this series called Sticks and Stones, we're going to be looking at one of my favorite stories from the Bible, David and Goliath. One of the reasons I love it so much is that it's full of action and fighting and weapons. In fact, every week we're going to choose a weapon of the week to help us learn what God wants to teach us. This week's weapon of the week is the staff. Now I know exactly what you're thinking. This doesn't look like much of a weapon. Don't be deceived. Lots of civilizations have used sticks like this in combat for a long time. And in the hand of a trained fighter, these can be deadly. For an expert, often a single strike is enough to break a bone or even take someone out completely. So just because something looks uninteresting doesn't mean it's not important. And that's a great lesson for us to learn too. So often what we think about something or someone is based on what we see. In our Bible story for today, a guy named Samuel is trying to help pick the next king of Israel. Samuel was a prophet, which means he listened to God and helped lead the nation to do what God says. As he's looking for the next king, God leads him to one particular family that had a lot of sons. He looks at all the sons and he picks the biggest and strongest and best looking one. But God says something interesting to him. He says, "Do not consider his appearance or his height, for I have rejected him." The Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. Eventually, Samuel found the youngest son, David, and that's where the whole story of David and Goliath starts. But this is great news for you and me. We may not be the biggest or the strongest. Sometimes we might feel bad about that. We might feel like we're not as important because of that. But God says that He looks at a person's heart. And that's good news because all of us can give our hearts to God and follow Him. That's what makes us important in God's eyes. God chose David based on his heart, and God has chosen all of us too. He doesn't care how tall you are or how strong you are. He just wants you to love Him. Put your faith in Him. In fact, we can have audacious faith, which means believing God for the impossible and doing something about it. You can have faith that if God has your heart, He can do awesome things through your life, just like He did with David. So today, think of yourself like a staff. You may not look like much to the outside, but if you'll have faith in God, God will be able to do big things, even greater things with your life.